Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Out of Boston, and today I'm back for episode number 46 of my Pittsburgh Pirates franchise series here on MLB 17, the show. So today we're back with the mid-season episode for year number 5, that is the year 2021. We are pretty solidly in first place over the second place Chicago Cubs at this point in the season. We've raced out to a 37-16 start, playing even better baseball than we have before. Pretty much this is looking like the best team we've had in our 5 years as general manager of the Pirates. You can take a look at the numbers for some of the guys this year, and really, you know, everyone playing well. We don't really have any holes with our position players. Our rotation 1 through 5 has been pretty solid. Antonio Liriano, kind of the only guy who's even struggled in the slightest sense of the word. Mitch Keller has been really good since he got called up. You can see rocking the sub-3 ERA. We also have Barrett Boyce, who got called up in late April. He's been really good, so the bullpen has also been very sharp. Really just the whole team playing all-around great baseball. So we do have the first-year player draft, and we're going to be taking a look at these selections that I did make in this first-year player draft. We have the 28th pick, I do believe, but that will be double-checked right here. And there you see pick number 28 after we fell in the World Series last year, and I think they do that based on record, so we must have had the third-best record, but anyway, Johnny Mosley turns out to be our first-round pick. 70 grade overall, 80 grade potential, and a high accuracy with the scouting, so I thought that looked like a sure thing for a pick. You see my second-rounder, Pablo Salgado. I wanted him in the first round. I didn't think he would fall to the second, but he did, so I snagged him there. I get Bobby Porter, third round, Darren Dozier in the fourth round, a guy with pretty good hitting ratings who potentially could be a nice depth piece for us. Fifth round, I decided to take a chance on Anthony Aquadevito, who we did not have scouted very much, but did look like he was an 80 potential guy perhaps. So taking a risk on him. Same thing with Grady Williams. He's here 75 grade potential, but the accuracy is less than 25%. So a couple shots in the dark there, as I like to do at the end of drafts. And one of them actually does work out. Anthony Aquavito turned out to be 86 potential shortstop. And you can see Johnny Mosley, not quite as good as I wanted him to be, only 83 potential, but still could be a solid corner outfielder for us. Pablo Salgado looks like our best draft pick with 89 potential, so that's a nice high B potential pitcher. And the rest of the draft was solid. Darren Dozier, probably the only pick that really didn't work out. That Aquavito one kind of made up for not really getting a stud in those first couple of rounds, although Salgado is going to be a nice little pitching prospect. So moving forward here into the month of June, continuing to play pretty good baseball. You can see winning games and winning them pretty handily. You know, a 10-3 win here, a 10-4 win there, scoring lots of runs, preventing the other team from scoring lots of runs, and, you know, for the most part, just playing really, really good baseball at this point. Eric Thames does go down for a month or two, so that's a pretty big blow. We're going to call up Rico Guerrera to take his place on the roster, as Oliver Wilson will move over to first base full-time in the absence. Actually, Robert Woodson's going to get some playing time there at first base as well, but both him and Wilson will split the playing time in the absence of Thames. We get to the end of the month of June, and you can see Thames still banged up. He's going to be out for about one more month. So into July we go, and we're starting out the month with a series. Well, we finished off a series against Milwaukee before heading to the All-Star break with series against Washington, Boston, and Tampa Bay. A couple interleague series here before we get to the break. We got one trade offer here, but this was pretty uninteresting. One of our better pitching prospects, Luis Ramirez, for another catcher that we didn't need in Austin Hedges. So I declined that pretty quickly. And then we end up taking 2 of 3 from Boston before getting to the All-Star break in Arizona. Once again, no one in the Home Run Derby. I don't think we've ever had anyone in the Home Run Derby. But we did have a handful of All-Stars represent us here at the All-Star game this year. I don't think we had a single pitcher, which was pretty surprising. We did have Mark Melancon, who's having a really good year as our closer after being signed as a free agent in the winter. But then we had Starling Marte and Steven Esposito in the starting lineup. You can see Marte, he's had a really good year so far, 4.5 wins already, hitting the ball very, very well. Probably the best season he's had for us. And then Esposito also having a really good year at the dish. He's been worth 5 wins. And then you see the rest of the lineup. Diego Vina in there as the starting second baseman. He's had a solid season. Hasn't really broken out into like a superstar, but has become a very good player, I would say. And then on the bench, I think we had one more. I could be wrong. Perhaps I am wrong. No, there he is, Justin Turner. So I think that gives us 4 All-Stars, 5 All-Stars. I guess 5 All-Stars because we had one on the bench, 3 starters, and a pitcher. But anyway, you can see after the All-Star break with Antonio Liriano really starting to struggle in the ERA up over 5, I decided to put Cliff Hinton back in the rotation. Hinton had started the year in the rotation before Keller got called up and had been playing pretty well. But that 5th starter spot, kind of one spot I was thinking maybe that could be the spot we look to upgrade. I also highlighted Austin Meadows there for a moment. He's the only position player with an OPS under 800 as a starter for us, so theoretically that would be the other spot that you sort of look to upgrade, but Anyway, I sort of discovered this quick manage mode that has been, you know, in the game all year long, but I hadn't really ever tried using it before. But it's actually a lot like OOTP's interface when you play a game on that game, which I really like. So I definitely foresee utilizing this more in postseason series, especially as I move forward with this series and other franchise series on my channel in the future with MLB. But this is pretty cool. This was a really entertaining game against Atlanta. We were down 4-0 early. It's now 7-5 Pittsburgh, and we've actually got the bases loaded here. That's going to be an RBI single to make it 8-5, but that would also end the inning as a runner was thrown out at home. Later in the game now, it's Roberto Osuna on the mound as he is trying to get this game to Melanson in the ninth. Gives up back-to-back doubles there, and then a 2-run home run from Travis Demeritte ties the game up at 8. It's a blown save for Roberto Osuna, and I will turn the game over to Melanson, who runs into a little bit of trouble on his own there, giving up a 2-out double, but does get the third and final out. So this game would go to extra innings. And you can see I went with the pitching change there. We're speeding things up a little bit. To the 12th we go. Still tied up at 8. It's a solo home run there from Eder Enciarte to give Atlanta the lead. So they go on top 9-8. That came off of Derek Law. On to the bottom of the ninth we go. Pinch hitting here. It's going to be Tyler Marlett trying to get the inning started. Evan Scribner on the mound for Atlanta. And he ends up closing the door on the game. So Atlanta wins that 9-8. You can see we're moving closer towards the end of the month of July. And then I got a pretty big 3-game set here against the Mets. I decided to do this little quick manage mode for because New York is a first-place team. We are a first-place team. So this could be a potential playoff preview. But Tanaka was not having any of it tonight. We gave him a 9-run lead, and he would do the rest. He actually has a 10-run lead now, make that 14. And he is going to end up tossing a complete game shutout right here. I think he ends up with like 10 strikeouts or something. And I think out of the handful of games I quick managed in the regular season, Tanaka had like 3 shutouts. So I don't know what it is about the quick manage, but he seems to always do very, very well in these situations. Here is game 2 against New York. We've got Johnny Cueto on the mound this game. We are tied at 2 through 5.5. On to the 7th we go. It's still 2-2. But Cueto's actually going to give up the lead here in the bottom of the 7th, so we're down by a run, trying to start the comeback now, as we've got to deal with the New York bullpen. It's Buddy Boscher's on, but he pitches a clean 8th, so that sends us to the bottom in the 8th. Cueto trying to keep it a 1-run game. I'm going to turn the game over to Barrett Boyce. I think I go to Boyce here. Actually, I go to Osuna, excuse me. We get a caught stealing, a single, a strikeout, another single, first and third, but a flyout to get out of the inning. To the 9th we go. Sanchez is on to face Familia. Solo home run ties the game at 3. Now Robert Woodson, back-to-back home runs. Just like that, we go up 4-2 and make it back-to-back-to-back 3 straight homers. Gives us a 5-3 lead here in the 9th. Pinch hitter for Oliver, or it is Oliver Wilson pinch hitting for the pitcher. He does not continue the home run streak, and it ends there at 3. But we take a 2-run lead into the 9th. It'll be Melanson on for the save. And Melanson does what only Melanson knows how to do, and that is get the save here for this ball club. As we take home the 5-3 victory, we've won the first 2 games. On to game 3 of this series, and you can see once again the offense coming to play. 6 runs so far. Keller struggling a little bit though. He's given up 4 through just 3 innings of work, as he will try to settle in now. It is 7-5. Pittsburgh on top through 5 innings. We're going to pinch hit for Keller here in the top of the 6th, so his night will be done. As it is still 7-5 Pittsburgh here as we head to the bottom of the 6th. I am contemplating which reliever to go with. I settle on Derek Law, who pitches a clean 6th. On to the 7th, nothing going there for us. New pitcher is going to be our 7th inning man, Barrett Boyce, who has been shut down this year. He has been a revelation, pretty much giving us the production I always wanted out of Rene Velasquez. It sort of seems that Barrett Boyce has turned into that sort of guy that I wanted when I made the Rene Velasquez trade, but anyway, we still have a 7-5 lead here, heading to the bottom of the 8th. I'm going to go with, I think, Osuna here for the 8th inning. He's dealing with Brandon Nimmo. He pitches a clean 8th, does give up the 1 run. We get 4 more runs in the 9th, so we don't even need to use Melanson here in the 9th. We go to Tony Watson instead, and I believe he actually gives up a run here, but would still close the game out and give us the 11-7 victory. So we sweep the Mets, and on to the trade market. So this Richard Feliz, this guy that absolutely boned me when he was on Tampa Bay in a video 2 seasons ago with his submarine-style windup. I actually faced him again in a game I played and was reminded of him and decided I finally wanted to trade for him. So he's just going to be pitching depth for us in AAA, but not a bad weapon to have as a luxury. So now I'm thinking about upgrading spots. I sort of see Oliver Wilson as a guy that is never really going to have a starting role on our team. Definitely becomes expendable. Tyler Stevenson is also expendable with the addition of Tyler Marlette. So I'm looking at trade packages for another starter. And this Henry Alvarez, I was looking at a controllable starter. That's what I really wanted from another team. Someone I could sort of groom alongside Mitch Keller and perhaps Antonio Liriano to kind of take over this pitching staff once the likes of Tanaka and DeGrom get a little bit too far up there in age. So looking for another cost-controllable starter. Anderson Espinoza, one guy I could get with this package of one of my pitching prospects, Stevenson and Wilson. Lucas Giolito, another guy I could get, although I didn't love his track record the last few years. So I went back to this Henry Alvarez guy from Detroit, who was a low 90s overall player, 24 years old, with like 3 or 4 years of team control left. And Detroit's a rebuilding team, so I'm giving them 2 pretty good pieces here, 3 good pieces now, in Oliver Wilson, Tyler Stevenson, and I'm throwing in Antonio Liriano. Liriano has really struggled this year. He's sort of capped out as a low 80s overall player. That's pretty much all his potential ever was, and it's never going to really go any higher, so he's kind of capped out. I basically see it as I'm using Stevenson and Wilson, which are, you know, kind of both expendable pieces to me, to upgrade Liriano into Alvarez. So this is the trade. I'm going to do a big one. Oliver Wilson, Antonio Liriano, and Tyler Stevenson to the Tigers for Henry Alvarez, our newest starting pitcher. Then I was taking a look at the free agent market to try and think about a new 4th outfielder, as David Peralta had really been struggling, and I was thinking about replacing him. Gerard Dyson wanted too much money, wanted too big of a role. Instead, I go to Juan Cabrera here, who is perfectly happy being my depth piece and making $700,000 a year. So that is perfect. He ends up signing on. He's our new 4th outfielder. I wanted to replace Tyler Stevenson with my as catching depth, so I traded David Peralta and 2 pitchers to the Twins for Ben Roydvet, who's going to be basically my new 3rd catcher on the 40-man, a low 70s overall switch-hitting player. I think he actually might be left-handed. I'm not sure he's switch-hitting. But making a couple more moves here, Donald Aoki to the big leagues. We also called up Adam Frazier. And then Rico Guerrero, another minor league free agent. He pretty much becomes the new Oliver Wilson. I'm going to transition him to left field, where he will be able to play with a secondary position as infield. That way, if I ever want to put him in instead of Austin Meadows, if there's a tough lefty on the mound, I can put Polanco in right field, and I can put Guerrero in left. So pretty much the exact same thing I did with Oliver Wilson. Guerrero pretty much becomes the new Wilson. They have pretty similar ratings. He was another reason why I felt Wilson was extremely expendable, and I didn't need to keep him. I was pretty free to shop him around in the trade. We'll see if that comes back to bite us. I think there's really only been one trade that's really come back to bite me so far, and that was the Rene Velasquez one, because Velasquez has been pretty much terrible for me, and Miguel Torres, the guy I traded, the corner outfielder with a high contact rating to the White Sox, he was an all-star for them this year. So I kind of screwed that one up. And my all-star Austin Meadows, or my right fielder Austin Meadows, was not an all-star. So I could have a better right fielder right now if I hadn't made that trade. So kind of a big L so far on that trade. But other than that, I made pretty good trades, I would say. So that's going to do it. Hope you guys did enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace.